Hey everyone! Lunar New Year is not for every one of us. There will be times where we actually created good memories together over the bonding that we had. But at the same time, during this festive season itself, there are also some of us who actually experience some form of loss, isolation, loneliness, or even some pain, be it mentally or emotionally, during this festive season itself. And this example of pain, such as one of it being that during in the family itself, during the family members where we actually converse with one another or interact one another over the conversation, some of us may actually ask each other a question about as simple as are you single? Or if let's say to those of us who are married already, most likely the next question that relatives will actually ask us could be that when are you going to have a baby next? Or even among the siblings in the very family itself, the siblings may be compared with one another in terms of be it to those who are still under education or who are still studying in academic, they may compare with one another in terms of how intelligent one is compared to one another, or how smart one is in comparison to one another. Or even to the adults, to the mid adults who are actually currently in the working force as well, we may be actually compared with one another to ask the question that how's your work going on, or how much is your salary, or for example, let's say we are being compared to our very own relative by our own parents in terms of your relative actually, for example, your relative actually get a higher salary than my son or my daughter, for example. But what happened is that if we were to ask these questions to the other person, or we are being asked this question ourselves by the relatives that we actually know or our other family members, it results in us actually feeling anxious and frustrated at the same time as well. As simple as the reason why is because it makes us feel insufficient, not being good enough, or as though that we are not actually achieving something when we are being compared to one another. Although this intention may not actually happen consciously, but subconsciously it may result in such feelings because we know that comparison itself actually results in a sense of feeling insufficient because we are being actually used to be compared to the other person and vice versa as well. But there are actually a few ways that we can actually cope to those of us who are dealing with some form of loss or grievances, even to those of us who may lose our loved ones as well. Because during this festive season, there are some family members or one or two who we actually love dearly or we care about may not be with us, and their absence actually causes the sadness in us as well, or a form of loss that we may actually feel at the same time. And it is very important for us to know that it is okay for us to feel such feelings because, as mentioned before, there will be room for celebrating happiness, joy during this festive season with one another. But at the same time, we can't deny the fact that we also will be actually experiencing some form of loss or grievances at the same time because we know that happiness and sadness is a representation of the life itself that we actually experience throughout our life journey. So there are a few simple ways that we can actually practice or to cultivate and actually helping us to cope with these feelings of frustration, anxiety, sadness, and some form of loss that we may actually be going through now. And one of it being that if, let's say, our family members or relatives that ask us the questions that may result in us feeling not being good enough or being compared to with another relative, we can actually set a healthy boundary in the sense where we can choose not to answer the question that we are being asked. And this could be as simple as saying that I'm actually not ready to answer this yet. And it is very important for us to set this healthy boundary so that we can actually affirm ourselves that it is okay for us to not answer that question, which is the very first thing. And secondly, to affirm ourselves that it is okay for us to not have a job. For example, if let's say currently you are actually in search of a job, or to not have a baby yet, to those of us who are already married, or to those of us who are single, it is fine as well if let's say we do not have a significant other or a partner at this moment yet. Because it is not necessary every time that we have our life at the perfect moment every single time. And the second way that we can actually cope with these feelings are such as that we can actually reach out to the loved ones who we trust to pour out or to communicate the feelings that we may have so that we can receive the emotional support that we very much needed at this time. Because after all, relationship between us can actually be further bonded when we actually share that loss, grievances, or the pain that we actually experience with one another or indirectly through one another. If you find that this video actually is relatable to you in any way, do leave your thoughts under the comment section. And if you have any idea that you will actually have us to share with you for the next episode as well, do also leave your suggestions of topics that you would love to hear from us in our very next episode. And if you find this video is helpful, do save this video for your future reference that you can come back and revisit again. And I hope that by sharing these new insights about Lunar New Year is actually not for everyone, with the hope that this very topic itself today that we actually share with you can help you to actually relate better in any way personally, and may you actually find support that you very much needed at this time as well during this festive season, so that we understand and may we know that it is okay for us to experience both the joy and the sadness during this festive season. Until then, we'll see you in the next episode. Take care, stay safe, see you around.